Why is this so hard to believe? If you cannot get past this, then I suggest that this whole committee be held in contempt for ignoring evidence that cannot be refuted.
The X-Files is one of the most iconic and boundary-pushing TV shows ever produced. It was so successful that it performed the magic trick that seldom few shows are ever able to manifest. It transitioned into a feature film franchise. However, after the stumble of the second X-Files theatrical outing, Fox opted to bring the extraterrestrial Cloak and Dagger show back to the small screen. Tragically, what should have been a grand reintroduction was just the beginning of the problems that everyone's favorite FBI agents had to face.
Mulder, the truth is out there, but so are lies.
But before we discover if the truth is out there, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this. Premiering in September of 1993 and running for 9 seasons and a total of 202 episodes, The X-Files focused on the shadowy world of cryptids, alien conspiracies, and extra-governmental operatives. It attempted to shine a light on the stranger side of life that exists just out of sight.
But to say that they've been riding around in flying saucers, it's crazy, Mulder. There is nothing to support that.
Nothing scientific, you mean?
The series, created by Chris Carter, mined post-Watergate paranoia and Gen X cynicism to create one of American culture's television mainstays. From terms like "I want to believe" and "the truth is out there" to the very names Mulder and Scully, the show became a bedrock for fringe ideologies and genre aficionados alike. Initially pitched by Carter as a Monster of the Week style series that would have melded genre antecedents like Kolchak the Night Stalker and Gene Roddenberry's failed TV series Spectre, The X-Files evolved into something more. As the show progressed, Carter and his writing crew introduced serialized continuity-heavy episodes, colloquially deemed mythology episodes. In no uncertain terms, The X-Files invented contemporary television storytelling. Despite climbing the ranks of network shows and cementing itself as one of the greatest TV programs ever, The X-Files was not free of behind-the-scenes drama. At the peak of its powers, the show launched a feature film now referred to as X-Files Fight the Future. This project was originally intended to end the show, but Fox forced Carter and company to keep going because the show was too much of a cash cow. This decision would reverberate throughout the subsequent seasons of the show, with David Duchovny's Mulder being written out of the show for the last few seasons over his dissatisfaction with multiple aspects of the production, which you can learn about in the video we made on the subject, linked below. Eventually, the show drew to a close in May of 2002. Many of the long-running storylines were tied up, and Duchovny's Fox Mulder returned to the program one last time.
I smelled you coming, Clarice.
In July of 2008, years of fan lobbying resulted in The X-Files eventually being brought back for a second feature film titled The X-Files: I Want to Believe. The film would opt to not pick up any of the long-running mythology arcs and instead put forward a standalone Monster of the Week story with a running thread of Mulder and Scully's long-time on-again, off-again romance. Unfortunately, the film would be only moderately financially successful, resulting in Fox having next to no interest in further sequels chronicling the adventures of Mulder and Scully, who, thanks to a tacked-on post-credit scene, were now officially a couple.
Please don't make this any harder than it already is.
From here, fans would spend the next almost decade lobbying for a third film to be produced. Fox had other ideas. If they were going to revive The X-Files, they wanted to do it in a way that would allow them the maximum amount of financial return. Thus, X-Files Season 10 was born. Re-establishing a long-gone, beloved show is a near impossible task. You have the tall order of attempting to measure up against how people remember the old incarnation. How exactly would Carter and company thread that needle? And how would they make the year's worth of original mythology episodes approachable to a new, fresh audience? Season 10 was comprised of 6 episodes, the first and last of which were mythology-centered, the rest of which were standalone. Many of Carter's stalwart creative compatriots like writer-producers Frank Spotnitz and Vince Gilligan were under previous contractual obligations and thus could not be involved in the new project. This left the only other longtime X-Files veterans to return as James Wong and Darren and Glenn Morgan. The Morgans are well recognized within the X-Files fandom as arguably the best X-Files writers ever, with episodes such as Jose Chung's From Outer Space, Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose, and Home to their credit. Season 10 largely ignores many of the status quo shifts from the end of the original series and from I Want to Believe, and instead opts for a generic, hand-wavy, the X-Files are being reopened, don't think about it too hard approach to reestablish a believable status quo.
Good for you to get out of that little house every once in a while.
Certainly was good for you.
I'm always happy to see you.
In the season opener, My Struggle, Mulder and Scully are approached by Skinner to reopen the X-Files. Mulder is introduced to Tad O'Malley, an analog to Alex Jones, who showcases a new and frightening truth to Mulder. Maybe there never were alien colonists at all. Maybe it was men using alien technology all along.
Mulder, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about everything we've been led to believe, our work, the X-Files, everything.
Yeah, that's right. Right here in the first episode, they try and walk back, undo and untether themselves from the entirety of the mythology arc up until this point. While the best episode of Season 10 is without a doubt Mulder and Scully Meet the Were-Monster, written and directed by Darren Morgan, most of the other Monster of the Week episodes fall pretty flat, which means that the whole success of this 6-episode season rests on the laurels of My Struggle and the season closer, My Struggle Part 2. Without getting too bogged down in the details, let's just say that in rapid succession, they reintroduced the cigarette-smoking man who somehow survived his previous death via helicopter-borne RPG, introduced the idea that all the alien invasion stuff might have been a hoax, developed this idea of the Spartan virus, a doomsday weapon meant to wipe out anyone not connected to the Syndicate, and introduces heirs apparent to Mulder and Scully and special agents Einstein and Miller. It's a lot of ideas, most of which don't work. Nonetheless, X-Files Season 10 was successful enough for Fox to order a Season 11, this time with an expanded episode count of 10. Season 11 features 3 of the episodes tying into the greater mythology: My Struggle 3, Ghoulie, and My Struggle 4. This season's opener is an almost immediate backtrack as Carter and company just abandon the Spartan virus and UFO cliffhanger from Season 10. Literally, they pretend like it was all a hallucination within Scully's mind. It's really bad. Much of the overarching story for this season centers on Mulder and Scully's long-lost son, who they gave up for adoption during the original show's run. Carter and company decided that William was going to play a pivotal role within the X-Files continuity of this new series. Maybe too much of a role.
You hid from me. And from your mother.
Yeah, because I'm a danger to people.
Well, I can help with that.
You can't help me.
Season 11 positions William as nothing short of a superhero. He has ungodly powers due to his alien-encoded DNA that manifest in whatever Chris Carter needed them to be. Shapeshift via psychic projection? Sure. Survive a gunshot wound to the head, why not? Furthermore, William's parentage is retconned in Season 11. It's revealed that the series' longtime villain, the cigarette-smoking man, was actually William's father, meaning that Fox Mulder was not his father, but in fact his brother. Season 11 concludes with cigarette-smoking man shooting William, who's disguised as Mulder. Then, Mulder shooting cigarette-smoking man, and Scully telling Mulder that she's pregnant with their real child this time. It's a slow degradation into a morass of unwieldy plot elements, retcons no one was asking for, and a waste of both Duchovny and Anderson's considerable talents. The blame for the fumbling of the X-Files reboot lands squarely at Chris Carter's feet. He had all the access, financial backing, and freedom to do what he wanted, but he just missed the mark at nearly every turn. Part of the main issue with the relaunch is that it didn't have a real reason for existing other than to make money for Fox. The show returned in 2016 and was off the air by March of 2018. The fact that an Alex Jones-esque stand-in was featured heavily in Season 10 and he isn't really used for anything significant showcases how rudderless Carter was. Currently, there appears to be a new reboot of the X-Files in the works from Black Panther director Ryan Coogler. Some years ago, an animated spin-off titled X-Files Albuquerque was announced that was purportedly to function much in the same vein as Star Trek Lower Decks, but that's been stalled out in development hell for the better part of a year now. Hopefully, Coogler's X-Files has something significant to say. The failure of the X-Files Season 10 and 11 is nothing short of depressing. Of all the shows to bring back or attempt to resurrect, the X-Files seems primed to pick up where it left off. However, this show is proof that lightning rarely strikes twice. Now with Gillian Anderson repeatedly stating she wants to move on, it would seem that the truth is destined to be forever just out of reach. And well, that's all we've got for this episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this.